How's it going today, everybody? Welcome back to my channel, Shaner's Mechanic Life. Today I got a 2015 Volvo VNL here. Check engine lights on and a no start. And if you look at the instrument cluster, you can see 11.4 volts. Now, I did a quick scan, and this is a code it came back with. PID 158 FMI4. Battery potential voltage switched on. Voltage below normal or shorted to low source. So basically I've got a code for low battery voltage. The instrument cluster says we've got 11.4 volts, but when you go down to the battery, it says we got pretty much full battery voltage, 12.57. Now this is a Volvo with a D13 engine. What I'm going to show you can apply to any maker model if you've got some situation like we've got here. Today I'm going to show you how to check the trouble codes on these Volvo highway tractors. This is a 2013 and this method will work right up to the current model. Basically all you do is you go through the instrument cluster and the windshield wiper switch. Now if you look at your display, to go back you press escape. This is your enter button, and you use the directional buttons to scroll up and down. So get into the diagnostic menu, you go escape till you get to this menu, scroll all the way down, keep going, and you'll see diagnostics. Hit enter, view active faults, enter, and then you can scroll down to whatever ECU you want to check. This one I want to check the engine ECU, press enter, and this is your trouble code. So I got my voltmeter hooked up to the positive and negative. Like I said, 12.57 volts. In a lot of the heavy trucks, you've got these battery disconnect switches. So if you take your positive lead off the battery, hook it up to the battery side of the disconnect switch. Let me get my light back. And check your voltage. We still have full battery voltage. Take your voltmeter lead off the battery side of the disconnect and put it on the cab side. And look at your voltmeter. We've only got 11.4 volts. So somewhere in this battery disconnect switch, we're losing like 1.2 volts, and that's without even a load. You hit that starter and it'll probably drop way below that. So I'm gonna take this off and show you what you can check, and we'll see if we can find a problem. Here we go. Now before you go disconnecting anything, do yourself a favor, disconnect your batteries at the negative side. That way you don't have any unwanted sparks happening when you start going in behind earth wrenches. Now I've got our battery disconnect switch off. You know, battery cables don't look too bad. You know, both sides. It's hard to film the back side here. You know, we'll clean them all up, make them look new before we put it back together. But where our problem lies is on the battery disconnect switch. If you look at the battery side of the disconnect switch, everything looks clean and normal. But when you go to the cab side, these cables have been loose and you've had some serious arcing going on. Pretty much melted through these washers. And when you get something like that, that's going to cause a serious voltage drop. So you can either put a new one on, or if you've got some of these nuts kicking around, you can replace everything, replace the washers, clean it up, and put it back together. As you can see, I decided to go with a new one here, mainly because the condition of this nut. It looks like it's just arced out way too bad, and it's been arcing way too long. If you try to get that off that stud, there's going to be no threads left on the stud, and it's already buggered up enough as it is. So let's put the new one in and see what our readings are. So Before you put it all back together, get in here, make sure your connections are all nice and clean. As you can see, this one has got some arcing damage, so make sure that's all a nice clean new surface to tighten everything up against. So now that our connections are all nice and clean, let's put the battery disconnect back on. Now that's all hooked up, now's the time to spray your connections with whatever anti-corrosion product you prefer to use. And also now, why don't you just go the extra mile and take off all the battery connections. Make sure everything's clean and tight. So turn your ignition on, and you want to clear your codes before you start it. See, this is the code we had before. Exit out. Erase codes. And our light went out. And we got 13 volts. Up to 13.6, 13.7. Now with the key off, we'll compare our two readings. So up at the cluster, we've got 12.6 volts. Let's see how that matches up down by the battery. Pretty much dead on the same and down at the battery. I think we got her fixed. Well, I hope this video helps somebody out there. You know, whenever you have a no start or any kind of trouble codes or electrical issues, step one should always be, you know, check your batteries, check your connections, make sure everything's clean and tight. Because with electronic stuff, and particularly computers and stuff like that, if you got bad voltage going in, you're going to have weird stuff coming back out. So just start with your basics, and if all that checks out well, then you start getting more technical. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments section. Hit that like button and subscribe. I got more videos coming. Anyway, have a good night everybody, and thanks for watching.